Uganda. My name is Pendo Galukande. I live in Kampala, Uganda. This is the capital city in a little suburb called Bugolobi. I know that's a mouthful, Bugolobi. I'm in transition career-wise. I just came back actually more than a year ago from the US, where I did a master's in couple, marriage, and family therapy. But back home here, I'd left a small social enterprise that makes greeting cards, packaging, and corporate hampers. And when I say hampers, I mean gift baskets or gift boxes. And I came to Regent University to do my master's and lived at the university. And that was the area where I, made friends, got to know people, and how I came in contact with Tidewater African Cultural Alliance. It's a good life, really. I love my country. I live with my husband and our son. When I came to the US, I came with our son, and we live in a community, lots of people in one area, like 900 families. And our son loves it because he runs outside and plays with many children and that type of thing. 10 minutes from nearly anything that you'd want. Reminds me of Hampton Road. I brought my language, I brought my way of being, family structure. Even if it's just my son and I that came, we kept very much a Ugandan family structure where, a parent is to be respected and there are things that are done a certain way. I brought food. I brought my millet porridge, which I have every morning. I brought my nuts. They're ground nuts, they're red, and they're smaller than most nuts, I think, in the States. And I needed those every day. Like someone eats bread, I also missed the bananas. I would have missed out on just the growth that came with travel, the freedom. I'm valued a little bit more. When someone's been abroad, when you come back and say something, some people listen. So my life would be quite different if I applied to one in the Netherlands that I looked at really closely. I looked at the UK. I looked at other places in the US, California. I have a sister there. I was expecting to be very alone. I was expecting to be very isolated. I was expecting to be very cold. I was well received within days. Regent University had a lady called Mama Mary who just said, look, I'm here to love on you. Now, I've never had anybody with a title, lover of students or something like that, but she just took us under her wing and literally mothered me and my son and lots of other international students. One, transportation. I think the way Virginia is laid out and many of the states, you're expected to have a car. In Africa, it's not many people have cars. So to come and A, you don't know how to drive, and B, you don't have a car, it makes it really hard. So just offering to maybe once a week, I'll take you grocery shopping, or I'll, pick you up to go to church. That was really, really helpful. Hosting in homes, knowledge transfer. There were elections going on, for example. They knew that I didn't understand all the different hierarchies of what's going on, and they would step back and sort of give me an overview, explaining systems and how the systems work. So yeah, I missed the weather. We are on the equator, so it's tempered. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's summer all year round. I missed my status in society, in being a married woman, working and all that. There's a certain level of, and having lived here all my life, you're educated and all that, you're kind of like more the elders, someone who's looked up to in society. And I came to Regent and I just took on the outlook of a student. I was with my backpack and I'm going to class, and it was interesting kind of be a nobody in a society, and for people to assume a lot of things about you because you come from Africa. So yeah, I miss certain privileges, I guess. I probably come from a little bit more privilege, but when you come to America, that privilege doesn't compare to the privilege maybe that you find. I left my husband and he had said he would hopefully take a sabbatical and join us. And he visited many times, but he didn't manage to come for any extended visits. So Mama Mary, I told her I was missing my home. And she said, why was I missing my home? And I said, well, I decorated it and made it cozy. And I was in a student accommodation and it was like the walls were bare and it was, bare minimum. And she took my key one day and I came back to a furnished apartment. She had put art on the walls and, tiny details that it would have taken me 10 years to put together. She decorated my flat. I just could not believe it. And then, she hosted us to lunches every Wednesday after chapel. We went to her house many times to just sing and dance and have meals or go for a swim because she lived by the lake. Uganda is a beautiful land. And apart from the physical beauty, I think the people are exceptionally welcoming. I think there was a BBC expatriate survey that says Uganda is one of the friendliest countries to be an expatriate in. We're going through tough political times. We've just gone through a presidential election. The current president has been on for 30-something years, and the leader of opposition was held in his house for some weeks, not allowed to move. We had an total internet shutdown for 5 days. We could not access anything, and even as I speak, social media is still not back on. So we're kind of slightly cut off from the world. For me, it doesn't feel like it's real. But we've been through worse. Maybe that's why I laugh. We've been through real wars, real civil unrest. So it's not yet that bad. My mother, she died 1979. Her name is Elvina Namokoya. You can Google that. She was a playwright, a choreographer, teacher of English, a dancer. She stood up for what is right. She sort of just had a lot of fight in her tiny little body, and she used her art to really portray Uganda in, can't say best light, because she critiqued society with her plays. She wrote one, Keeping Up with the Mukasas, and how Ugandans like to kind of go with trends and compete with each other. And then when Bishop Janan Luwum was murdered by President Amin, she produced the play Murder in the Cathedral. So that was very brave of her, and everybody worried for her that she would get in trouble. And Amin was right there in the front seat when they did the opening. So that's somebody I think you should all know. Interestingly, in the last 12 months, there's been various people celebrating her and remembering her, and the government's recognized her, and so I feel like she lives on, and a book was written by her friend Pat Howard, her autobiography, but it was written as a fictional book. No.